get out to Denver and our buddy FP Santangelo. Good morning, bud.
You guys are doing the mornings. Does this hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
You guys are I was getting a call. Sorry. You guys are doing the mornings. Does this mean Draymond hates you guys now?
That's right.
I'm surprised you talking to me.
We're surprised you're talking to us right now, FP, after what we've been saying about you.
Oh, it's funny. It's you guys. I mean, seriously, this is. Can you believe like the whole season gets down to like the next 10 games? It's just amazing to me that I mean they got to go. It's go 3 against the Rockies, 4 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Rockies, and then 2 against Oakland. So, you know, I was talking to Luke Jackson in the elevator yesterday, and he says like this is our time. We got to go right now. And I think these guys are really aware of what's at stake, and they've been playing some decent baseball. And yeah, I think they got a chance.
FP Santangelo joining us on the River Islands guest line, and all guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? Well, FP, let me ask you about that, though. I know Farhan said it, but is it true? Like, what do you think is actually riding on these next 10 days?
Well, they're 3 games back of the wild card, right? And the West looks like, you know, that's a pipe dream right now to win the division. But as we know, we've seen teams get in through the wild card and do really well in the postseason. And yeah, I mean, you're either buying or you're selling right now. And here's the thing, like we can be super dramatic and say, well, you know, if they do what they're supposed to do, and who knows with the Dodgers in 4 games at Dodger Stadium out of the break, if they're wobbly coming out of it and you can catch them at a good time and take, you know, split there, take 3 out of 4, whatever. First things first, this is a dangerous place to play. But who knows? I mean, I just don't. I think are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? 90% of the times, it's neither, right? 90% of the time. But I was just sitting here looking at things today. But if you get this rotation intact, and you get Ray, Cobb, Snell, Webb, and Harrison, that's a pretty damn good rotation. And I think some damage can be done. And you know, I was talking to Garvin Alston yesterday on the bus on the way here, and he was saying that Ray looked really good in his bullpen. That Cobb is close right now, and these guys are right around the corner. And I think there's a sense of urgency, and there's that fine line between like, hey, they're ready right now, and don't push them because then if we push them, we lose them. But that rotation, you guys, those 5 guys, I think can do some damage here in the mythical second half of the season. And so, well, I don't know if it's going to be a buy or a sell, but these next 10 days are going to be huge for the organization.
It might be a buy and a sell just based on what Farhan normally does. But if you're looking at the buy portion of it, FP, what do they need to add to help them get over the hump?
They need a shortstop, first and foremost. They need a shortstop. I mean, that's number one. I mean, that's a premium position. And I think Brett Wisely's done a really nice job. And I think Tyler Fitzgerald can do a decent job. But if we're talking about October baseball and we're talking about playoffs and how much money they spent in the offseason, how they literally pushed all the chips in the middle with how much money they spent, then yeah, that's a premium position that you need somebody there on a daily basis that's going to be a threat, that's going to do some damage, and it's going to make every play. Like I don't know who that is. We can all speculate, but I think if I were the Giants, you know, that's where my focus would be for sure.
You like Jazz Chisholm, and can he play short?
I mean, does it matter?
Yeah, it matters, right? Like, I mean, I know he can play second, but it's significant because I think he fits really well. But he's been in the outfield, he's been at second. He used to be at short a little bit. Can he man that position?
I think that's a very athletic position, right? You have to go back to like Little League. The best player played short. Even in high school, the best player plays short. College is usually the same thing. Even in the minor leagues, it's a very athletic position. So do I think he can play there? Absolutely. And like the reason I said does it matter is because, I don't know, since I've been back in San Francisco, minus Brandon Crawford, the Giants have just shoved anybody at shortstop and said, hey, play shortstop. And, you know, that's the position I played the majority of my career. And there's so many little things that go along with being a shortstop besides fielding a ground ball and throwing it to first. You're the quarterback on defense. You're the captain on defense besides the catcher. And there's a lot that goes into it, like where you're supposed to be on every play, making sure everybody else is where they're supposed to be on every play, knowing when to go in and talk to the pitcher, when to not talk to the pitcher and leave them alone. There's so many things that go into that position with the mental clock where you're supposed to be on cutoffs and relays, bunt Ds, all this stuff. So it's not just a plug and play position if you've never played there. So, and it's a tough position to learn for younger players at the major league level, as we've seen throughout the last year and a half or so. So, do I think he can play there athletically? Yes. And I just think that the athleticism is something the Giants need. They need speed. The stolen bases back in baseball again. It sounds like they're going to open up the running game a little bit here after the All-Star break. So we'll see how that goes. And if you do add a speed guy like I've always liked him. I just think he's a dynamic player. He's a game changer. And I even like the fact that he's going to piss off some other teams, to be honest. Like there's a lot of guys with the Giants that are just, they're not dynamic in that sense where you don't really have to worry about a Matt Chapman pissing somebody off or a Lamont Wade Jr. or Wilmer Flores or Tyro. Like I kind of like that edge in the way that the game has evolved in today's game, and you have some flair and you have some style to your game. And I can't believe I'm saying this, listen to myself saying this, because I was like the old guy, get off my lawn on the bat flips and all that stuff. But I just think that the game has evolved into that right now, and I kind of enjoy it. I mean, I don't enjoy pink uniforms of the All-Star game. I will say, it's just terrible. That whole thing was terrible. The whole All-Star experience this year was terrible. And whoever's making the decisions in Major League Baseball needs to really take a look at themselves. But as far as like the players showing genuine emotion, I think that's really cool. And I think the Giants could use somebody that can spark the team and has a little swagger and a little flair and maybe gets the dugout going. And whomever that is, I think, obviously you have to get a player that can put up some numbers and contribute. You're not just going to go out and recruit a cheerleader or trade for a cheerleader. But if it's a guy that can play and he adds some flair and he adds some spark and he adds some energy, that's exactly what this team needs, in my opinion.
Would you give up Luciano for him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd give up a lot. I'd give up a lot of people. I'm not a GM, or do I ever pretend to be one, because those guys do it for a living. And they get there at 9 o'clock and leave at midnight every day. But I would say that based on the pitching and the way it's coming along with the health wise, I honestly think this team has a chance to make a big time push. And if you guys looked at that tweet, I retweeted it yesterday. I forget who put it up, but the Giants have the easiest schedule in all of baseball in the second half. The easiest schedule. So that combined with a mediocre National League, that combined with if you get hot in September, who knows if you get in this thing. Like this isn't company lines, you guys. This is a guy that spent his career in baseball that really honestly thinks this team has a chance to make a push in the second half. And I think they've underachieved in the first half. I think there's more talent. I don't care about the injuries. I don't care what's happened. There's some really damn good players on this team, and I think they've underachieved in the first half of the season, and they know that, and they're accountable. And I think they're going to play a lot better, and I think they're going to make a push. And this isn't cheerleader rah-rah crap. Like, I really believe it.
And if you look at that in totality, easy schedule and underperforming in the first half and a weak National League, does this all lead to a call for reckoning for Farhan Zaidi at the end of the year if, in fact, they fall short, considering everything that's going their way with the rotational pieces coming back, the schedule, the National League? Is this kind of a make-or-break stretch for Farhan?
I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, it's big boy business, right? I tell you guys that all the time. It's a bottom line industry. Like you're measured by your wins and losses. And no matter if you're a player or a coach or a president of baseball operations, and I think everybody's aware of that. I don't think this is a mystery. I think guys know that if you win in this business, you stay, and if you don't, you go. It's just the accountability factor at the highest level in any sport is super intense. So I don't know that there's panic, but I'm pretty sure that everybody's aware of the consequences if this team puts so much money in the off season and doesn't make the playoffs. So yeah, I think there's I would say a sense of urgency for everybody to pick it up a notch and play a little bit better. But this team has fought all season long. That's one thing I'm leaving out here in all these numbers. And, the Giants were 33-32 after the break last year. That's not going to be good enough this year. But the one thing this team has done is fought and scrapped and clawed all season long. A lot of come from behind wins. Even the Yaz walk off before the break was really cool. So I don't know. I have good vibes. Trust me, it's been a roller coaster season. If things don't go well here in Denver, I was around a team in 2019 that lost, I don't know, like 6 of 7 going into the trade deadline, and it was a fire sale, and everybody got traded everywhere. And it was just like sell, sell, sell. So I kind of have PTSD from that, and I'm really hoping for these guys' sake, because they're a bunch of good dudes. They really like playing with each other and playing for each other, and they're selfless. That for these guys and for this coaching staff and for this organization, I really, really am rooting for them. I hope they lock it in here in the next 10 days so that we selfishly as fans can have a fun ride here the last 60 games or whatever it is.
Talking with FP Santangelo here on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. FP, there's the Jordan Hicks situation, stay or go bullpen. Robbie Ray coming back, Alex Cobb maybe in a little bit, and young guy Hayden Birdsong. And it sort of feels like it's those 4 guys for 2 spots. How would you play out the rotation going forward?
I think the Hicks thing was cool at first because his stuff was electric, but this stuff has kind of faded a little bit, and I don't know if it's just because he's never pitched this many innings or he's never been a starting pitcher, but the stuff is kind of flat all of a sudden. I don't know if that's fatigue. 92 is not sinking like it used to. It doesn't have that electric finish. The split's not diving off the table like it did early in the season. I mean, this guy used to throw 104 and he's sitting at 92, 93 right now. So I'm not sure fatigue's a factor right there or what's going on, but maybe he just goes to the bullpen and blows it out and gets back up to 100. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's just in his back pocket and it's something you can have. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe the All-Star break did him well, but Birdsong to me is a big time wild card in this whole thing. I really like what I'm seeing from the kid. He's got cockiness, he's got swagger, he's got confidence out there, and his stuff plays big time at this level. As long as he throws strikes, he's super effective. And I think, more importantly, the team is gaining confidence in him and what he's bringing to the party every 5th day. But Ray, Cobbs, Snell, Webb, Harrison, to me that sounds like an October type of starting rotation.
And if the rotation is that and you have other arms in the bullpen, does one of those arms maybe slide in and start taking the 9th inning? Because I'm seeing Camilo Doval as a guy who's a little bit shakier than I remember him last year. Is his job as closer in some jeopardy, FP?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a sense of urgency to win and is not getting the job done, I don't think as a manager sending a message at this time of year is a panic move. Like if you're a manager in April and May and all of a sudden you change closers or all of a sudden a hitter goes 1 for 30 bench, in the clubhouse, that's perceived as a panic move. And then the team loses confidence in the manager. But if you're to this point in the season, whether there's 65, 66 games left, I don't even know, and guys aren't getting the job done, I don't care what your resume is or what it says on the back of your baseball card. You have to do whatever is best for everybody in that clubhouse. And if somebody's underperforming and not getting the job done, in this case, I mean, we're pointing out Camilo Doval. He hasn't been the same guy this year for whatever reason. His stuff just doesn't play like it did last year, whether it's lack of command, whether the cutter isn't as filthy, whether it's the demeanor, whether it's, I mean, there's a lot of things that just aren't, it's not like, they're not Camilo like what we've been used to as Giants fans. So if you're not getting the job done, and it's, I don't know, there's other guys down there that can get the last 3 outs of the game. I'm very confident in that. So I don't know if you move on from him. I don't know if he's a trade piece in this thing, or you just show confidence in the guy and say, look, you're our guy. But I think, like we get back to the initial point, the next 10 days are going to tell the story. And if there's like consistently more blown saves in this, I'll just say this in general, and this isn't pointing a finger at Camilo. In my experiences, when there's a blown save, those are the worst clubhouses to be in after a game. Those are the ones that suck the life out of the room and suck the life out of you as a player. It's almost like, as a football player, you play your ass off for 4 quarters, and then the kicker comes in and misses the field goal that would have won you the game. Like it's the same kind of thing. Like, hey, I'm out there for 3 hours and we're flying around and doing everything and running the bases, and I'm dirty and bloody and we've done everything we can to win a game, and the closer comes in and blows the save. You get in that clubhouse, I mean, it's crickets. It's like a funeral kind of setting. And sometimes those have a negative momentum into the next day. So the toughest losses in my experience as a player we're blown safe.
FP, real quick, you told me a handful of weeks ago, don't give up on Jorge Soler. And then he had a really good June. He had a solid June. No two ways about it. So far in July, he's hitting 195, and he's striking out every 2.5 at bats. Where do we stand?
Okay, you can give up on him. No,
okay. All right, that's definitive.
No. He's gonna hit one back to San Francisco in the series. I'm calling it right now.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm still not used to a guy that the Giants paid to drive in runs leading off. Like maybe that's the old guy get off my lawn take on this thing. I would love for a guy like Jorge Soler to be in that 4 spot, to come up with the bases loaded in the first inning, or to come up with the bases loaded consistently. And not necessarily hit a grand slam, but sack fly, drive in a couple of runs, get a clutch hit. It's just odd to me, and maybe that's something that I need to learn about modern day baseball, to see a big guy that you paid a lot of money to hit home runs and to drive in runs, being a scrappy leadoff hitter and working a walk to start the game off. And word is he's comfortable there. Well, I want him to be comfortable hitting third or fourth, driving in runs.
Yeah.
That's that if I was an owner, and that's what I paid him to do, that's kind of what I'd want him to do. So maybe that evolves. But, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it on live radio with you guys, like, that could be a big key in the second half. If, like, he gets locked in, he gets hot, but, like, he gets into a spot in the order where he's coming up with runners on consistently and then doing some damage. And it doesn't have to be the ultimate damage. Just be a threat in that spot. Know that, hey, if they're not going to pitch to me, I'll take my walk. But if they hang something, I'm going to be dangerous. I'm going to be up here ready to do some damage. I know you only lead off once a game, and the on-base percentage, and he gets, I don't know how many more turns to hit because he's leading off. Like, I understand the logic in it. I understand the rhythm in it, and if the offense is clicking. But, like, I mean, am I wrong here? Like, I want the big guy that hits – the big guy hit ball far, you hit fourth. Like, sorry, that's how it goes.
No, I'm with you. In 2 weeks, I want Jazz Chisholm leading off. That's what I'd like to see. Hey, partner, have a good trip. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, I got a tough day today. I'm going to lay out by the pool, and then I'm going to walk to the ballpark and call a major league game. So I hope you guys are feeling for me here.
What's the temperature there?
The temperature is going to be the high of 93 today here at the Mile High City.
Okay.
So bet the over. I thank you for that. No problem.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
that. The ball's going to be jumping at Coors.
Put some more.
Take care.
Yeah, put some more pictures on Instagram with you in shades by the pool.
Did you like that thirst trap?
I did.
I was feeling myself a little bit. I was like, I look good. I'm going to post a selfie. I never do that.
I love it. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Yep. There he goes. FP on the River Islands guest line.